What are some moments in movies that made you go, it doesn't work like that? My dad was a pipe engineer for 35 years. Every time he watches the Titanic, when Jack is handcuffed to the pipe, he has to point out to everyone in the room how the curved elbow pipe in the shot didn't exist at the time. The correct setup should have been two straight pieces soldered together to make a corner pipe. I love him and his obscure dad facts. Edit, I just showed this to my dad. He's not familiar with Reddit, but he appreciates the love. Here's one you can give back to him. In Back to the Future, when Marty plays with the band at the dance in 1955, he's playing a Gibson 345, which didn't come out until 1958. I will take this knowledge and pass it on. Thank you. Almost any scene involving someone being shot or stabbed. As a cop, I've dealt with many stabbing victims. People don't just drop like sacks of potatoes when they are stabbed or have their throats slit. I once had to respond to an incident where two guys got into a knife fight. Ended up having to help keep pressure on wounds as we waited for paramedics, and he pulled through. His neck was wide open, and he had 23 punctures in his abdomen and arms, but he was still energetic and down to fight. When it comes to gunshots, you're not going to instantly drop unless something vital is hit: heart, brain, ect. Makes me laugh a little when watching movies and bad guys drop dead when they are shot or cut in any way by the good guys. A sling will fix anything. Avalanches, particularly when someone gets buried and then just bursts out of the snow unharmed. Avalanche debris sets like concrete, you're not getting out without help. And most deaths/injuries occur from being bashed up during the slide, so you're not likely to emerge unscathed if it's big enough to bury you. As far as I know, trauma occurs from terrain traps, not necessarily the size. In most more deaths are from trauma, whereas in Europe, where above tree-lined terrain is much more accessible, fatalities are typically deep burials. Also, sound triggering avalanches is a big one. Pretty much any scene that involves biologists. Look, the DNA is a perfect match. As the computer superimposes two identical graphics that are basically just the symbol for DNA. And the fact that it takes them a few seconds to get the results. Prometheus was an offender, their DNA sequence is identical to ours. Dude, they are 2,3 meters tall, blue, bald bodybuilders. Their genome cannot be identical to ours. The amount of time between responses in phone conversations. Hi mom. 1.37 seconds later. What do you mean Larry and his ferret were hit by a scooter in Moscow? While we're at it, phone conversations where we can't hear person 2 on the other end, but that's okay cause person 1 is echoing whatever they say. What do you mean, pick up another bagel? Oh, I should look in the cupboard? Alright. It may be true that Elisa went back to France, but no, I've got nothing against France. Pumping the shotgun every time you mean business. You're just ejecting fresh shells into the floor. Especially when it's a break-action double-barrel shotgun. Or when a gun makes a noise every time you raise it. News flash, a pistol doesn't make a slide racking sounds when you move it up and down. That bothers me so much. Crawling through air ducts. Most aren't that big. Or they aren't that strong to not bend or break at all. Edit, yes they are also incredibly filthy. I have taken out enough ductwork to know that you could almost create another person with how many skin cells end up in your air ducts. I also am not doubting the strength of the large threaded supports some ductwork has. I'm doubting the strength of the 20-gauge metal to not end bend in the slightest under the weight of a full-grown man. Aren't they full of screws and other sharp jabby bits too? Cause, they aren't designed for crawling through, so you can just anchor shit anywhere. People in movies being scientists, meaning they are good at all forms of science, biology, electrical engineering, physics, programming, communication protocols, advanced mathematics, hacking, robotics. Sure, you could have some knowledge in all of those fields, but specializing in just one of them takes decades. These characters are usually wizards in all fields. CW is hilarious with this stuff. Felicity in Arrow is working tech support at a corporation when we meet her. She's the most brilliant hacker in the world. Win in Supergirl is IT at a newspaper. A season or two later he's basically the head science dude at a Black Ops government agency. I'll give a pass to Cisco and Caitlin since they actually do work at a super science lab in The Flash, but Barry is on par with them with just a degree in chemistry and physics. Ah yes, the Rodney Mackay School of Science. An explosion nearby and everyone talks and hears fine. I love that scene in The Other Guys about this. God damn it, tinnitus, you are a cruel mistress. On a related note, when people are blown back by an extremely close explosion and just walk away afterward. Yeah, no, the changes in pressure are going to cause organ hemorrhage and rupture, your lungs are going to pop and your bowels will spill open. Any CPR scene ever. After 10 seconds of barely any depth to the compression and slow CPR, the person is revived. It's a miracle. Which, it would be. Every time they perform CPR in a movie. Bonus points if the victim wakes up immediately and is totally fine and talking. 5 seconds of chest compressions, oh no, it's not working, stops chest compressions, victim looks really dead, blurf, water, vomit, geyser, eyes open, etc. weeping/hugging bath fest reunion. Similarly, someone is knocked out and stays knocked out while the bad guy escapes. Then they wake right up when somebody from their team shows up and says their name a couple times. It's always a pet peeve of mine when in movies, they're working on a computer and the thing is constantly chirping and beeping with some kind of dumb sci-fi looking interface to it. Like dude, we all have computers now. We all know software doesn't do that, and if it did it would be annoying as hell. I've even seen scenes, can't remember which movies, where they're clearly using Photoshop or something similar and it's constantly making little sci-fi noises. Or the classic hackerman, 5 seconds of rapidly pressing random keys, typing something that's not even into any kind of input, pop-ups appearing faster than the human eye can follow. I'm in. It is the viruses the boomers loaded onto the computer by misusing it. I watched a movie once where geologists ignored signs of a massive natural disaster, blaming it on sensors. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like real scientists don't hesitate to double-check edit. Seems like scientists ignore sensors in a lot of movies. Dante's Peak, The Day After Tomorrow, Spider-Man, and 2012. I'm specifically talking about The Wave. If they don't trust their sensors, why use them? All the movies with science babble in them. Or tech babble. All of them. At least it's pretty funny. Just stick dark energy or quantum physics somewhere. The quantum dark energy is spreading to his ass. Hacking is babbling about I'm in and you always have to trace the source, I'm pretty sure. I'm in his hentai collection, tracing the sources now. But what if we reverse the polarity? Grizzly old cop, can we trace the suspect's phone/computer? Geeky tech kid, well that depends. We can run a quadratic bypass algorithm on the main heterostatic coupling circuit, unless he's using a thermonuclear delay device on his analog frontline diode. Then we have to try fracturing his digital fragmentation drive with a gigawatt optic triangulator. God fucking damn IT, kid. I don't care about this electronics bullshit. Just give me a straight fucking answer in English. You keep him online, we'll do our best, okay? In Interstellar, when they have combines running through a field of green corn, they spent a ton of time getting little details of astrophysics right, then fell flat on their face in the depiction of farming. And the best part is, I read somewhere that they actually did grow and harvest that corn to pay for some costs of the movie, so it's not like they didn't know how harvesting actually works. It's probably a production timeline decision. Corn wasn't ready when they needed to shoot the scene, so fuck it, only people with ag knowledge will notice. I actually enjoy finding small errors like that in movies, provided they don't totally screw the immersion up. When a baby is born and it's a beautiful, squeaky clean 3 to 6 month old, twice the size of a newborn. They are tiny, goo-covered, swollen purple aliens IRL. There's an episode of Royal Pains where a girl gives birth and this child they decided to be the newborn is, I swear, literally a toddler. It's so bad I can't even be angry, it's just hilarious. I give this one a pass though. I mean, where you going to get someone to actually volunteer their newborn to be in a movie? Edit, yes, I realize now there would be plenty of people who would volunteer their newborn for this, but that doesn't mean it's safe or ethical for the child. I think it's much better we just suspend belief with an older infant used in film and TV. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.